Welcome in, everybody, to Betting Pros. It's time to place your bets. It is me, Joey P. Joe P is a Pia. With me, as always, is Scott Bogman. It's Monday Night Football time. So let's get after it. We're going to talk about the Vikings hosting the San Francisco 49ers. And during the show, Scott Bogman may or may not have an outburst or two as his Diamondbacks try to push things to a game 7 against the Phillies. He's already in a good mood, though, because the Pittsburgh Steelers went out there to Los Angeles and brought all of Pittsburgh with them, apparently, as well, because that was a large Steeler crowd, Boggs, in Los Angeles. A good win for your Steelers yesterday.
Yeah, Steelers, big win. You know, they were 0-9 in the regular season in LA against the Rams all time before yesterday. So the one win they had against the Rams in LA was in, I believe, Super Bowl 14. So that was the only time that they had won in LA against the Rams. So, but went out to the West Coast. But, you know, it's like the chicken or the egg. Is it the West Coast or is it Tomlin coming off a bye week? We weren't sure. So, you know, it was Tomlin coming off a bye week. So we like that.
It was Tomlin off a bye week. And I will say this too. I'm very excited about them being home underdogs this week against Jacksonville. You, however, are trying to shy me off that. The look ahead show today was great. There's a lot of early good value. If you haven't, go check that out. I think it's out now. If not, it'll be out soon. But great show. There's some great values there. But Bogman saying be careful. So I'll have to listen. We'll see if I do.
This is what happens. Everyone said no way they go to the West Coast and win. Everybody forgot they're coming off a bye. They go out there and they win. Everybody is now saying home dogs in Pittsburgh. You know, Jacksonville's coming off rest. They played Thursday night game. They get a couple extra days. So let's not forget it. This is a team that loves to win when they're expected not to and loves to lose when they're expected to win. So it's just been that way under the Mike Tomlin tenure. And
I don't think they're underdogs, so they're not expected to win. So by your logic, they're a good bet. See, I used your own logic against you.
Okay. Well, they were expected to lose last week and they won. So that's all I'm saying is that like if they're expected to beat the spread, because you don't care if they win the game. In fact, you probably prefer, Jacksonville, I don't know. It's probably 50-50. You probably just not have Pittsburgh in the playoffs. But
yeah, I got no hatred for Jacksonville. I like Mike Tomlin a lot. I used to like the Steelers until all the Steelers fans got real chippy about the Patriots kicking their ass every year. And you know what? Everybody started to get really antsy because all of a sudden the Patriots own all these rings. And then all of a sudden they started coming for me. And now I was like, all right, well, let's settle down here. By the way,
got
my
a bunch.
Patriots
It's the same as my team. So
I was not, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, why can't we all be elite together? I don't understand.
You know? Let's just keep the Cowboys out still.
All right. Well, let's get to Monday Night Football. Before we do, let's talk about more winning. How about winning this? It's time for our latest giveaway here at Betting Pros, and it's a Robert Tonyan autographed jersey signed by Robert Tonyan himself, the Chicago Bears' own tight end. So how do you get this? You subscribe to the channel here at Betting Pros YouTube. Also drop a comment below. That's it. That's all you got to do to win this jersey. And don't forget to click that little bell till it goes ding so you know every time a piece of content drops here on our Betting Pros channel. Okay, here we go, everybody. It's time to take a look at San Francisco and the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are 7-point underdogs at home. -110 on DK is the best number you could find on that. For San Fran at -7, you get -105 over at BetMGM. The total is 43.5 at BetMGM. For the over, for the under, you get 44 at Bet365. You like the Vikings for the money line upset at +270. And I'm not saying I love it, Boggs, but I'm thinking about it. Thinking long and hard about this one. Again, this is more of that principle bet where anything can happen. Deebo Samuel out for this game. You're missing your left tackle for this game. I don't know, Boggs.
Yeah.
I'm feeling salty. I think that +270 is the best value on the board.
Purdy's coming off of his worst game as a pro as well. So maybe the Niners look beatable. I don't care. I'm taking the Niners because this Vikings offense looked pathetic without Justin Jefferson last week. It looked just straight up bad. So, you know, how are you going to adjust? And are you going to adjust well to one of the better teams in the NFL and the best offenses playing angry after that loss last week? So I don't know. I think I'm going to take San Francisco, but I like the over in this game because you can score on that Vikings defense. And I do think maybe the Vikings will be able to score because the weakness of the Niners is the secondary, but I don't know. Got to be able to pass the ball. And it was a pathetic showing last week for the Vikings.
It was. In terms of, you know, the injuries too, obviously a big injury is the Christian McCaffrey one, but he is going to play. Any concerns there about that and McCaffrey's health in this game?
Yeah, I think you have to assume that he's going to be on some type of a pitch count, right? Like he's up, he's playing, but being a true game time decision, like we didn't know yesterday. And most of the times we'll get a report like, this person is expected to play tomorrow. But yesterday, all they said was Debo's out, Trent probably is out, and CMC is still a game time decision. So knowing that it was up in the air until day of makes me think he's definitely going to be on a pitch count, and you should worry about his production, which is why I'm not doing any props involving Christian McCaffrey today.
Well, let's talk about the loss of Trent Williams too, because I mean that is a huge loss here in terms of protection, in terms of running the football. And you saw, how much he was missed there in the fourth quarter of that Cleveland Browns game last week for sure. That was a huge loss for them. And that's why I keep looking at this. If Minnesota can just keep this one close, one mistake, one issue there. That's why I look at this plus 270, and it's such a good number. Like, it's not crazy where like, look, San Francisco is a much better football team than Minnesota. I don't think anybody's going to deny that. It's just a matter of, are they vulnerable right now? And I think the answer is yes. And I think because of the McCaffrey health, because of, missing Trent Williams, because Debo's out, like I do expect Kittle. I know Sam here is talking about, get on that Kittle train basically and bang that all day. I agree. I think Kittle's a really interesting one tonight. If you're looking at his anytime touchdown score, it's plus 170. I would have thought McCaffrey, they maybe give us a better number because of the injury. They didn't. It's minus 185.
They don't care.
Screw you. Minus 185. What kind of nonsense is that? But I the more I think about it, for me, I want to take something I feel really good about, a prop I feel really good about. Take the Minnesota Vikings on the plus 270. If they can keep it close, maybe we get an opportunity. And again, maybe I get offered a cash out then at a certain point. Cool. So this is one of those things where you got to watch it. If Minnesota gets a lead, if Minnesota's keeping it close, maybe you get some cash out options. Maybe you put it with an anytime touchdown score. You lock those two things in, you get the touchdown, and all of a sudden Minnesota's in striking distance or ahead. You get out of Dodge, you make some money, you walk away. Maybe you don't win the whole thing, but you walk away in the positive. I like that approach tonight to this game, Boggs.
Yeah, I don't hate it. And I do think that the Niners are vulnerable right now. I do think they're beatable. I just don't think this Vikings team is good enough to beat them. So like I like the total more than I like the spread, but I also would rather play props in this game.
I got a question for you. Did you think the Patriots were good enough to beat the Bills Sunday?
I didn't. I had the Bills minus 9. Either. So
yeah. You know who else had the Bills too? Our friend JB here. JB, Bills killed a lot of my bets and teasers. I know. The Bills were one of the building blocks of parlays, which again, parlays are the fruits of the devil. We say it all the time. Doesn't mean we don't do them from occasion to occasion. But it killed a lot of people. Yeah. Joe too. I see Joe. Bills killed a lot of my parlays. There you go, Joe. We know
Bills wrecked a lot of people in survival too. Like, and look, they had the bad loss week 1 to the Jets and looked pretty unbeatable outside of that, and then get smoked.
Well, I mean, the Giants did kind of, keep them hanging around for a while there. That was kind of, that Giants game was, again, I keep attributing the Giants performance to what happened to Damian Harris and everybody just kind of getting very, tight.
I think the Giants defense is very good.
They're playing really well, much better. And you know what? I think they're fascinating. I love the under in that game this week between the Jets and Giants. I know it's already like 37. I know it's a low number, but the Giants are getting after the quarterback. They had 6 sacks, I think, against Sam Howell. Sam Howell,
he runs into them. He's on pace to have like 198 sacks this year.
So the record was Fields from a couple years ago, right?
Was it Fields? So he broke. I thought it was. Is it not David Carr?
I don't remember which one it was. Fields
I thought it was David Carr in that expansion.
The expansion Texans team.
It was like 76.5.
Regardless, whatever the number was or who it was, Fitzy told me today that he's just 15 away from that number, and it's only week 8. So.
I mean, it is. It's the easiest bet that I win every single week, Joe. Is and it's on Underdog. It's on like the prop places. I'm not sure if it's on some of the other ones as well, but like it's Sam Howell sacks taken. It's like 2.5 or 3.5 every week. I'm just auto.
Yeah, I mean, They're averaging giving up 3.5 sacks. So yeah, Giants defense.
And he's running into them. It's not even like the line is bad, because the
here's
line
the point.
is bad with the Giants. It's terrible. But
the point I'm making about the
Washington's
49ers and the Bills is the same point, which is the Bills are not 100%. They're missing key pieces. And when you're missing key pieces, especially on the defensive side, all of a sudden they were vulnerable, right? I feel like, for Purdy Purdy's been great. I don't want to take anything away from Brock Purdy, but it's easy to be great when you have all the toys and all the time. And tonight he might have less time, and we know he's got less toys. And I think that's a really interesting opportunity here. Now, I'm not saying you put the mortgage on this one, but I am saying that plus 270 is intriguing enough that I'm in on it. Also, I'm in on the NFL contest, so make your picks count. That's what we want to do here all the time. Go to bettingpros.com/NFL contest. Wagering doesn't have to be legal where you live. You just got to make 5 picks a week, 100 on the year, and you can win a Jackson Smith and Jigba autographed jersey. We're also doing monthly prizes, weekly prizes, chances to win Fantasy Pros and Betting Pros store gift cards. You can win some swag there, hats and t-shirts, all kinds of fun things. Give them out as Christmas presents. Holidays are around the corner, Hanukkah presents. Also, monthly prizes. We've got Fantasy Pros and Betting Pros upgrades as well. So get in there, click on the community tab, join the NFL contest. It's fun. Everybody likes fun. Bogman loves fun. Can't get enough fun. Let's talk about props, Bogman. Those things are fun, and you've got some good ones for us. Let's start with Kirk Cousins. What do you have for the people?
I'm going to go with the under 240.5 for Kirk Cousins passing yards, because, he looked pathetic last week without Justin Jefferson. Not sure how the adjustments are going to be used. And look, I know that they're still going to pass 45 to 50 times in this game because Kevin O'Connell is a madman and all he wants to do is pass. I get it. Like, it's going to be probably unbalanced, but it's a little more balanced last week. And I don't trust. There's no one there to stretch yet. Like, Jordan Addison can do it, but is he going to do it in this game against the Vikings? I'm not 100% sure. So let's go with the under 240.5. I don't hate the half interception for Cousins. Look, that's been my bet recently. I feel pretty good about this under on yards for Cousins. So okay. I'm going to go with that one first.
All right. So under the 240.5 there. Let's go to Alexander Madison. Rushing attempts. That number is 11.5, minus 145. The juice is a lot, but you like the over despite the juice. So you want to pair this with something else, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go, like you said, minus 145 over 11.5 rushing attempts. Look, I know that the Vikings have and will abandon the run game. It's something that they've done. They're a pass-heavy offense. I get it. But I'm telling you, with Justin Jefferson down, you have to find something different, even against the Niners. And it's not like you don't run to get a ton of yards with the run
you're
game,
running to keep the defense honest. It's game plan running. It's softening running. It's trying to get some play action going running. It's running with the purpose of differentiating the offense, not with the idea of moving the ball forward. I agree.
Madison took 18 carries last week. He had 17 against Carolina, 20 against the Chargers. He's been below this number a couple times, but like I said, with JJ down, you have to switch something on offense, and I think it's going to be giving the ball to Madison a bunch, and they don't have any other running backs that they trust yet. They don't trust Ty Chandler, obviously, because they went out and traded for Cam Akers, and they haven't given Cam Akers a lot of run yet either. So I think it's going to be a lot of Madison in this one.
What's the lock of the game to pair it with? Is it the McCaffrey touchdown minus 185? Because like McCaffrey's on this streak. Now I know he's not 100%, but my God, he's like getting the end zone every single game with 14 in a row. We're up to 13, 14. I forgot, I lose count here, but I mean, it's a little, like I said, I wish we were getting just a little bit better number on it tonight because of the injury. We're not. So it almost makes me more confident. Like if you're going to pay heavy juice on that, you might as well put something else that's a lock together and try to just, put those locks together and try to get into the positive a little.
I think my next one is the lock that I would pair this with.
Well, let's talk about it. It's Brandon Ayuk, receiving yards, 71.5, minus 115, over or under, Box.
Let's go over because you're down. You're not down all of Christian McCaffrey, but you're down part of him. He's not 100%. Right. It would be nice to reestablish Purdy after his worst game as a pro against a bad Viking secondary. Viking secondary is real bad. So I think you're trying to establish him. You don't have Debo. So I think was it Bruno or whoever mentioned before, a lot of Kittle in this game. And Ayuk hit this in the Purdy game where he was bad last week. So I think that this is almost an automatic one. I mean, Caleb Evans he's definitely playing less than 100% if he is even up today as well in the secondary for the Vikings. So yeah, I'm all over this Brandon Ayuk one. I think he smokes this one, even though I don't particularly like high totals and I don't like high numbers. So when we get to over 60, I start to feel a little queasy, but this one was the one I first looked at and I was like, let's go.
I see a lot of chatter in the room here about Kirk Cousins, Monday Night Kirk, and all that stuff. I mean, how much do we want to buy into that? Do we want to continue to buy into this narrative, or does it not matter? Do we? I'm looking at it at this point, and I'm almost like, well, yeah, you know what? It's been bad so many times. Let's go the other direction. Eventually, things got to even out. That's the nature of sports. That's again, I keep coming back to the Vikings tonight.
Well, look, let's just look at this season. Let's look at Kirk against the Eagles, and I know they got smoked in that game, but that wasn't on Kirk. Kirk was unbelievable,
right?
In that game,
he was terrific, especially in the second half.
Amazing in the second half, and that was like when they're one-dimensional too, and you know they're going to be passing because they're losing. He was throwing dimes. He was on point. Still had Jefferson in that game too, though. So I just I really didn't like what I saw from this offense last week without Jefferson. So I'm concerned about them overall, which is why I don't want too many yards on the Vikings unless I'm taking the unders. I'll take the over on rush attempts, and I got another over right here for you. Let's go over KJ Osborne, 3.5 receptions. It's juiced a little bit as well at minus 135. Maybe if you want to take two sides of that Vikings game, you take those two. We're not counting on yards from them, but they're going to be involved. I mean, look, I know I'm saying the under on Kirk Cousins yards, and Osborne is a big part of that. Osborne has no wiggle at all. I mean, I think we were looking a couple weeks ago when we were doing the rank show, Joe, and it's like 0 missed tackles forced, no yards after catch. He's just not good with the ball in his hands, but he can get open. And I think you make short throws for a guy like Osborne, and I think you get him the ball a couple times. So he's been over this the last 2 weeks. The game JJ got hurt in, and then when he was missing, he had 4 and 5. So I like that.
Well, that used to be Osborne's MO last couple of years. Is that if he was a guy who would catch 7 out of 9. Like he was a guy if you threw
for
the ball
38 yards. Yeah.
Well, look, yeah, it wasn't the yardage total wasn't great. It was more like a 50 something or whatever. But to that point, again, you've got to start spreading the ball around. You've got to get everybody some work. And I'm with you. I think Osborne, the 3.5, it's a low enough number where I'm intrigued there. You don't have to go crazy on this one. Just get the 4 and you're good. Let's go on the defensive side too. I know you have a defensive prop here for us. So what do you have this week?
Yeah, I don't really like the sack ones. I think the Nick Bosa one was unbelievably juiced, and the one for Danielle Hunter wasn't that good either. Like the number just wasn't good. So let's go with Cam Bynum over 7.5 tackles plus assists. You're getting plus money on this one, plus 110. He's hit it 5 out of 6 weeks, and he's done it against like the Chiefs, who throw the ball a lot, and the Bears that run the ball a lot. So he's done it against both types of offenses here. So I just really expect Bynum to pile up the tackles. And Kyle Schwarber walks on 4 pitches. It's not
great. Why, Toy? Better walk. We just talked about this before the show. Better Kyle Schwarber walk. Stop throwing to him. I mean, I'll take the walk over the run. He's not the fastest guy. Maybe get him in a double play or something like that. Touchdown props tonight. Kittle at plus 175 is the one that I like the most in this game. Just putting that out there. You got McCaffrey at minus 185. Ayuk at plus 130. Hawkinson is at plus 220. Not a bad number either. Addison's at plus 250. Also a guy that I like a lot in this one. The interesting ones too that I just want to throw out there for fun is the San Francisco defense at plus 500 and the Minnesota defense at plus 800. I would not be shocked to see one of those hit tonight. I really wouldn't. It feels like one of those games where a defensive score, a pick six somewhere could certainly be there. You're making some big eye movements.
Trey Turner hit one about a foot short. So
a foot short? Oh,
yep.
Well, didn't go out. So there you go.
Just raising my blood pressure. So it's gonna be that type of night.
Give me your favorite anytime touchdown caller. If you've got one too in the chat, drop it in here. I want to hear from you what your favorite anytime TD calls are for the day. So mine is Kittle at plus 175.
You said Hawk was plus 225. What did you say Addison was?
Hawk is 220. Addison's 250.
I think I'd rather have Addison actually.
And then you got like Jordan Mason at plus 170. Like I almost feel like the McCaffrey
170 for Mason. That's it.
It's it. They're covering themselves, and they should.
In a row. So
he scored 2 weeks in a row, and McCaffrey's on 100%. So if you're down in the goal line area, do you really want to give it to McCaffrey, or you want to give Mason that shot? I think Mason is an interesting one too. But my assessment is the same as you. I'm surprised it's only 170.
Yeah, give us a little more on that. I'm not taking that one at all. I mean, you might get 4 carries. Maybe he scores one, but I mean, I don't know.
Maybe. But
no, I would go with Hawkinson, and I like the actually, I think I like the Addison at 250 more.
Addison at 250 is a good one as well.
I think if you're making adjustments, your adjustment should be 10 to 15 targets for Addison. That's what it should be. So
it should be. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we get Monday night Kirk Cousins of 23 or of yesteryear. That should be fun. We'll see if the Diamondbacks can stay alive for Scott Bogman, because clearly his attention is waning in this show. So everybody go out there, enjoy your Monday Night Football, have fun. Make sure you subscribe to the Betting Pros channel, like the stream, click that bell till it goes ding for notifications so you can win that jersey we're giving away. And of course, go enjoy the football games and download that Betting Pros app so you can start betting smarter, not harder. Use the tools, and also follow me at bettingpros.com/Joe or /Bogman, so you can see some of those early bets that I've already put on for week 8 in the NFL. Lots of early good stuff. Jump on it early before it moves. That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. For Bogman, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. Enjoy your Monday Night Football.